What up guys, SuperMetalNA3 here bringing us another album review. And I know it's been a couple of months since my last review and I deeply apologise about that, but you know, life takes over and you just gotta roll with it. But I always come back stronger, maybe not, but I'm here. And so today I'm going to be doing a review for you to kind of, you know, pick up the pace again and be ready for my top albums video for 2023 coming very, very soon. But yeah, I thought what better way to come back than to do a review of one of the most hardest and heaviest releases so far this year. But yeah, we're going to dissect it today. Today I'm going to be talking about the new EP from the band Wharf entitled Wither. This is released under Reality Fade Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with Wharf, they are a kind of brutal, slamming deathcore band that take influences from Beatdown, hailing from Wolverhampton, UK. And these guys have become very personal friends of mine and casting Tephra. They were on the first show that we ever played back in, when was it, 2019, when we got to play with them, Harlequin, MTXS and Gassed Up in Wyattxhim in Newcastle, and what a show that was. And ever since then we have become very close friends with them. We've gigged with them a bunch of times, and they have grown as well to become one of my personal favourite artists in the UK. In my personal opinion, they are up there as being one of the heaviest bands, not just in the UK but in the European, and to me anyway, they are one of the most underrated bands in the world, if you ask me. And I absolutely love everything they brought out. Their debut EP, Reside, which came out, I believe, in 2019, was an absolute powerhouse of that kind of like brutal, as I said, brutal slamming deathcore with Beatdown influence sort of vibe, but it had the hardcore-esque to it, and it really packed a wallop in the UK scene as well with that debut EP. It's absolutely phenomenal, if you ask me. But rewind a little bit and you go to their second EP, which is my personal favourite of theirs, which is called Matricide, which came out in 2021. And this EP, holy shit man, this is easily one of the heaviest, if not the heaviest releases in the UK circuit, if you ask me. Like, I listen to this EP so much on repeat. It is an absolute banger from beginning to end. It's got the groove, it's got the heavy, brutal beatdown brutality behind it, but it has a lot of impact, and it still has quite catchy hooks when it comes to like lyrical delivery, and just in general, just there's just so much to like about this release, and I absolutely love it. And you know I was going to be excited for a new release from these guys. And now we'll get to 2023 with the arrival of a new EP entitled Wither. Sorry, my bad, lost focus there. But yeah, so it is 5 tracks and runs around 21 minutes in length. And this is Wharf basically evolving into a new beast, if you ask me. Because, like I said, Matricide, it is, in my opinion, one of the heaviest and most punishing releases that I have ever heard. And I still absolutely love it to this day. So I was kind of expecting them to go along that sort of, you know, direction still, bring the endless brutality and just take it to another level. Whereas I feel like this EP takes on board a different, how should we say, a different influence and a different approach to it. Like, this one seems a little bit more focused on the songwriting and atmosphere to push them into a new light, you could say, like adding these more blackened sort of influences and more atmosphere to create this really unnerving, diabolical sort of feel to it that, in my opinion, makes it stand out compared to Matricide and Reside, if you ask me. Like, those two releases are very barbaric and very brutal, and I'm not saying that this one isn't. I'm just saying that this one stands out from those two releases. Like, a third release, you can't just keep on doing the exact same material over and over again because it gets boring, doesn't it? But this one definitely pushes them into that sort of new dimension, shall we say, with their songwriting, like definitely taking on a little bit of influence from the likes of Worm Shepherd and Lorna Shore, for example, and even a little bit of sense of cattle decapitation with these like really in sort of a way anthemic sort of feels to them that really give it that overall atmosphere, particularly on the song, which was the first track they released from this EP, which was called Dread, which in my opinion is basically, when they dropped that, it kind of felt like an introduction to the sound, because it still had that sort of diabolical heaviness and groove aspect to it that kind of puts us in mind of like a more hardcore sort of feel, like with groove and sort of that, but then introducing these like more atmospheric sort of moments and more, I'm going to say melodic in a way, just to give it that bit more memorable hook, but then still keeping that intense heaviness that we know and love Old Wharf for. And I feel like that is the best way to introduce the new sound. And I absolutely love that track, especially there's one moment on it where Hayden does this vocal, it's just saying the word weak, and it's like the first verse or second verse, and that moment, that made me hairs stand on, and I was like, that is just simple and just intense and just brutal. It just the gut wrenching behind it just felt so gritty, and just I absolutely loved it. But then the breakdown comes in nearer the end, where it's like, I believe it's like dropped an octave, and it just sounds Old Wharf, just so, yeah, you know our heaviness, but then adding that slower tempo and the drop octave, it just makes it just sound just all that more crushing and just overwhelming to listen. You're just like, nah, this is fucking insane. And then I heard that song live when we played with them in Derby with Osiah and Necrotid, and me and the lads were just at the side just going, nah, that's stupid, that's disgusting, and the filthy vocals on top of that just make it just filled with so much grit. I absolutely love it, and just filth ridden, absolutely love it. And the intro track, it kind of gives you that sort of feel, the title track, which is called Wither. The intro sort of starts up with this sort of sombre, atmospheric, blackened sort of feel to it, and then comes in with the diabolical just heaviness and just call out. It just feels like, yeah, it's back to being Old Wharf sort of thing. Like, it kind of like feels a bit of reassurance, like, no, this is not a black metal record, this is Old Wharf bringing the filth once again. And then Abyss and Malignant are the newer tracks that we heard before the release, which were absolutely incredible songs, and they definitely have that sort of like power, like a lot of brutal releases that you don't feel a lot of power or presence in the voice, you know, it just feels like it's just being brutal. But when it comes with a bit of meaning behind it, and the lyrics on this album are absolutely incredible. I think some of Hayden's best work lyrically. It's dealing with the loss of family members and the emotions that you go through and the process of that, and you can feel all that emotions, whether this is a brutal release and you can't understand what you're saying, it still transitions in that way. So like, a brutal vocalist can hit the most disgusting lows, and it just feels like it's just there for the record, whereas this one, the vocals are in that sort of dimension, but the way they're expressed and the tone of it, it just comes across with a little bit more emotion, and I really like that about this release, and it really reflects the concept or the theme, shall we say, of this release, and transitions it well to the listener, in my personal opinion. I can really connect with that, and especially on my favourite song on this release, Sombra. Holy fucking shit. This is the epitome of Old Wharf's songwriting skills, and just everything that this band does. It has those brutal elements, but this one has more of a verse. The chorus on this track in particular really stood out to me. Like, it really had that sort of like feels of like verse chorus, sort of like, you know, something you can sing back to, whether it's brutal as fuck, you can sing it back to, and I absolutely love that sort of approach to it. And it kind of more takes, it does take a bit of Worm Shepherd influence, but I would say more it takes on a bit of a Cattle sort of influence with the chorus, like with that high-end guitar coming in, getting just those extra higher notes in there just to give it that overall atmosphere. It really fucking works. And then, like, Hayden's vocals are just, across this EP, are just absolutely diabolical. There's so much range to cover here, from his high range, which are so piercing, his commanding sort of brutal lows that he normally goes for, but then he's adding these new elements from like influences like gore grind, slam, and just overall just like, you think Will Ramos is crazy for doing those snarls. The snarls on this are a fucking another level. Like, personally, like, I love Will's vocals, I really do, and everything he does in Lorna Shore, but I think personally Hayden is the king of those type of vocals. He just manages to create these unique and just filthy, infested, and just undescribable sounds that you're just like, what the fuck is he doing? And it just really works. And the riff writing and the songwriting on this track is just absolutely incredible, from the drums to the guitar work, just being brutal but blackened and atmospheric at the same time. It just all works cohesively. And then at the end, we get the as if the filth-ridden vocals of Hayden were something. We get Devon from Worm Shepherd laying down a guest spot right at the end, and holy shit, Devon is another underrated vocalist, if you ask me, because his delivery at the end, you knew it was going to be something disgusting, and the way it just slows down and it still feels so fucking just over the top, but still fucking brutal, and you just can't comprehend what's happening. Like, I remember when that song first came out, and I listened, watching the lyric video and trying to process the lyrics as well, and then getting to the end of it, I had that bit on repeat because I was like, I need to process this. You just can't comprehend what's happening in this fucking song, and it's one of my favourite tracks of the year. I absolutely love that song, and I absolutely love this EP. I think Old Wharf have done absolute wonders with this new EP, and if this is the direction they're going to be going in the future, I am all for it, because this is a different kind of heavy for the UK metal scene. This is just disgusting. This is, in comparison, you could say this is the UK's answer to Worm Shepherd. That's the best way I can describe it. It is absolutely incredible, but it still has that beatdown influence. It still has elements of hardcore, deathcore, slam. It is all there when it comes to heaviness. It's like surpassing the boundaries of human suffering with just filth-ridden vocals and blackened elements thrown on it. That's the best way I can describe it. It is phenomenal, if you ask me. One of the best EPs of this year, and you'll be able to find out very soon where it appears on my top EPs list of 2023, because it is definitely up there. I can't stop listening to this release, and you will as well. Make sure you check out my boys in Old Wharf with their new EP, Wither, which is out now via Reality Fade Records, and you can pick up CD copies on their merch store and Reality Fade, which will links down below. And Sombra is also in my Super Metal Riffs for Days playlist on Spotify, which will also be linked down below. What an EP, and I absolutely love these guys. I'm going to give this a solid 10 out of 10. What a fucking release, and you guys need to hear this if you're into your slamming, brutal, beatdown deathcore. This is it. This is the epitome of heavy in 2023, if you ask me. But yeah, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. More videos will be on the way in the very near future. I'm going to try and pick things up again. But yeah, I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.